Things that school should have taught you about money. Part 1. What is a mutual fund? So imagine you're at a restaurant with some friends and you want to order, 5 or 6 things, but you can only afford one. So you and your friends agree to pool your money together and buy 5 or 6 things collectively. Then you each get a little piece of each of the 5 or 6 things that you chose to share. Now imagine those menu items are actually stocks and like different investments like bonds, and the mutual fund managers are the ones choosing what to order. So then everyone who puts money in a mutual fund gets a piece of each of the stocks, bonds, etc., that are within the mutual fund that people might not be able to afford otherwise. So a mutual fund is essentially just a pool of money from a bunch of different investors that's managed by a professional like portfolio management team. And those managers use the money that they get from this bunch of investors to buy a mix of investments like stocks, bonds, or both, based on whatever the fund's overall goal is. So you're not picking the investments yourself, you're giving the money to this pool of money that these investment managers use to buy different investments that you wouldn't be able to buy alone otherwise. But here's the thing about mutual funds. So unlike ETFs, mutual funds trade once a day usually after the market closes. So, you can trade an ETF whenever you want, pretty much, whenever the market's open. But a mutual fund, you have to wait until the market closes. And they usually come with higher fees since you're paying for a more active management as opposed to ETFs that are more just, you're giving your money to this pool of stocks that isn't as actively managed. Also, when I say actively managed, mutual funds are more actively managed in terms of that there's these investment managers or portfolio managers that are actively buying and selling stocks to align with the investment, portfolio goals. Whereas an ETF, it's not as actively managed because there's nobody sitting there actively buying and selling stocks. It's more so tracking like a certain set number of stocks. So it's always important to kind of know that distinction between the two. And as pretty much everything in the investment world, they can make sense in some cases, but it's always important to understand exactly what you're paying for. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll do my best to reply to everyone. Thanks.